Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 14, Text 17. Angira Vacha.
Angira Vacha.
Apite Namayam Swasti.
Apite Namayam Swasti.
Yaktinam Tadatmanaha.
Yaktinam Tadatmanaha.
Yatha Prakriti Guptaha.
Yatha Prakriti Guptaha.
Man Raja Cha Saptabihi.
Man Raja Cha Saptabihi.
Angira Vacha.
Angira Vacha.
The great sage Angira said.
The great sage Angira said.
Api. Whether. Te. Of you. Anamayam. Health. Swasti. Auspiciousness. Prakritinam. Of your royal elements. Associates and paraphernalia. Tatha. As well as. Atmanaha. Of your own body. Mind and soul. Yatha. Like. Prakriti by the elements of material nature. Guptaha. Protected. Uman. The living being. Raja. The king. Cha. Also. Saptabihi. By 7. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. The great sage Angira said, My dear king, I hope that your body and mind and your royal associates and paraphernalia are all well. When the 7 properties of material nature, the total material energy, the ego and the 5 objects of sense gratification are in proper order, the living entity within the material elements is happy. Without these 7 elements, one cannot exist. Similarly, a king is always protected by 7 elements: his instructor, his ministers, his kingdom, his court, his treasury, his royal order, and his friends. Please repeat. The great sage Angira said, My dear king, I hope that your body and mind and your royal associates and paraphernalia are well. When the 7 properties of material nature, the total material energy, the ego, and the 5 objects of sense gratification are in proper order, the living entity within the material elements is happy. Without these 7 elements, one cannot exist. Similarly, a king is always protected by 7 elements: his instructor, Swami or Guru, his ministers, his kingdom, his court, his treasury, his royal order, and his friends. Purport by Sri Prabhupada. As it is quoted by Sridhar Swami in his Bhagavatam commentary, Swami Amatyau Janapada Durgat Gravina Sanchaya Dando Mitramcha Dasyaitha Sapta Prakrutayo Matha. A king is not alone. He first has his spiritual master, the supreme guide. Then come his ministers, his kingdom, his fortifications, his treasury, his system of law and order, and his friends or allies. If these 7 are properly maintained, the king is happy. Similarly, as explained in Bhagavad Gita, Dehano Asminada Dehe, the living entity, the soul, is within the material covering of the Mahatattva, ego, and Pancha Tanmatrika, the 5 objects of sense gratification. When these 7 are in proper order, the living entity is in a mood of pleasure. Generally, when the associates of the king are quiet and obedient, the king can be happy. Therefore, the great sage Angira Rishi inquired about the king's personal health and the good fortune of his 7 associates. When we inquire from a friend whether everything is well, we are concerned not only with his personal self, but also with his family, his source of income, and his assistants or servants. All of them must be well, and then a person can be happy. Presents the Bhaktivedanta purport. We are extremely fortunate to be in this place, Jagannath Puri. It's identical with the Vaikuntha. So in the early hours, discussing Srimad Bhagavatam in this place is very fortunate. So we are reading from 6th canto. The chapter's name is King Chitraketu's Lamentation. Chitraketu is a very opulent king. And then he had, after a long waiting time, he had a child. Unfortunately, because of some envy of some of the wives of Chitraketu, they poison the boy and then the child dies. And the boy dies. So, when the son died like that, at an early age, Chitraketu is in a lamentation phase. He's actually lamenting, and at that time the king, the Rishi, Angira Rishi comes to that place. And here we can see Angira Rishi is asking whether everything is okay or not. So this morning I was just looking at I'm just going through what's happening in our home state, just going through some of the news. And suddenly I came across some of the foods that people take and they have pleasure. You know what people eat? And they have shown 20 foods that various parts of the world they take and take a great pleasure. So I was curious, okay, what are the people eating? We want to know. And suddenly they showed one picture where one lady, is an American lady, she is drinking one coffee. And that coffee is the costliest coffee in the world. And I became even more very curious. So much costly it is. And how much cost? $11,000 for 1 kg. How much is a kg now? Coffee were all disconnected, no? So very good. So $11,000 per kg. I thought it must be a very, very, very powerful coffee. It must be. And then they have mentioned how they make the coffee. And I became even more curious. Okay, let me see what it is. There's so much they're paying, no, for 1 kg. So this is actually this powder. This coffee powder is from Thailand. And what they do in Thailand, there are many elephants. Thailand has a lot of elephants. So what they do, they feed these elephants with beans, coffee beans. Feeding elephants with coffee beans? Yes, they do that. They feed tons of coffee beans to the Thai elephants. And generally what happens if you feed too much, no? the elephant cannot digest. So these beans, they come out in the stool of the elephant. They call droppings, elephant droppings, right? And what these people do, they collect all, and in these droppings, the coffee beans are still lying, here and there. So they collect all these coffee beans and they wash it and they make a coffee out of it. And that coffee is the delicacy, $11,000 per kg. So I said, what did I see first day in the morning? Favorite coffee of Americans. And I thought, okay, let me see the next picture. Maybe it will be a little better. Then next picture is about Chinese favorite eggs. Then I said, okay, my God, Chinese are, so many billions of people are there. Their favorite eggs, okay, let me see. So, what they do, actually the eggs are regular eggs. But what they do, they go to some schools and the school boys, young school boys, say maybe 5th standard, 6th standard, very young boys. They are known as virgin boys. So they collect all the stool urine that these boys have passed, and in that urine they boil these eggs. And that is the favorite delicacy of Chinese. That is the second page I have seen. So I was becoming a little fearful what will come in the third. Other things I cannot even describe. At least the devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness, they won't be able to see. So I just closed it. So these are some of the food in which the people take pleasure. So here Angira Rishi is giving the secret how to be happy. And he is saying there are 7 properties of material nature: the total material energy, the ego, and the 5 objects of sense gratification. What are the 5 objects of sense gratification? Anybody? 5 objects of sense gratification. Can you tell at least one, if not 5? So for the eyes, what is the object of sense gratification? So forms. So eyes are continuously looking for the beautiful forms in this world. And as soon as we see a beautiful form, then immediately the eyes will take pleasure. Through the eyes and through the mind, the soul takes pleasure. So that is the object of sense gratification. And as soon as we see a certain form which is beautiful according to our understanding, immediately there is an attraction, and then the eyes are pulled in that direction. Sometimes, because we are walking on the road, we are going all over the place, first time you cannot avoid seeing. Right? We cannot close our eyes and then we cannot walk. We see. But as soon as the mind says it is very attractive, then again and again we see. That's the indication that we are getting attracted to the object of sense gratification. That is for the eyes. And for the ears, what is the object of sense gratification? So we want to hear pleasant sounds, pleasant music. Right? That is the object of sense gratification. Actually, if you one of the biggest industries in the world is this producing music. There are music bands and the cinemas. First, even before cinema is released, they release the cassette. Right? So that the music is popularized like that. During my college days, they organized one. They invited one music band for the college day. There is one day, annual college day will be there, right? They have called one music band, and they said that this year, the specialty is we want to call a hard rock band. Well, we didn't know what it is, but anyway, we have called it. I was not very interested, but anyway, I came to know. We used to have a beautiful ground, a playground, and then there is a stage and all those things. And they called me, and of course I have not gone there. And that evening, they had that hard rock session. And I didn't know what exactly it is. The next day I went to the playground and saw what exactly happened. Just to see what is this hard rock. Basically, the beautiful playground has become like a muddy pool. Nice cricket, very soft, nice ground has become like a muddy pool, and then they broke the chairs, they broke the lights, they broke everything in the stadium. And the next 1 year, the college has to spend a lot of money. Basically, hard rock band means that's what it is. That's what I understood. So, of course, that was in IASC. They had this annual, this thing. So, for the eyes, for the ears, and for the nose, smell will be like good smells. And then for the tongue, we want taste. And what is the next one? The next one is the touch. So we also want to touch and derive pleasure. So these are the 5 sense objects of sense gratification. So here Angira Rishi is saying, unless the total material energy, the ego, and the 5 objects of sense gratification are in proper order, then the living entity within the material elements cannot be happy. So here he is using the word called proper order. Now these 5 objects of sense gratification has to be in proper order. Then only the living entity can be happy. And he is continuing, without these 7 elements, one cannot exist. Actually, without these objects of sense gratification, nobody can exist. Now the crucial word is proper order. These 5 objects of sense gratification and our ego has to be in proper order, then only the living entity can be happy. If they are not in proper order, genuinely speaking, the living entity cannot be happy. For example, the examples that I have quoted, how people derive pleasure in eating all those, according to Bhagavad Gita, they are not in proper order. For example, in the 17th chapter, Krishna explains what is the food which is proper and what is the food which is not proper. He gives the description about various kinds of foods. And then he explains the foods which are not at all proper, and he says food cooked more than 3 hours before being eaten. That means you cook it and then you take it after 3 hours. Actually Krishna says that food is not proper. And then which is tasteless, the food has no taste, it has become stale. Stale means old, it has become very old. And then putrid. Putrid means it is actually decomposing. The food is decomposing. You can see those white, the decomposed food, no? It's called fermentation. People ferment the food and they eat, and it is unclean, not at all clean. And that is the food liked by people in the mode of ignorance. Actually, long ago, first time when I was reading this, I was thinking, who will eat food which is decomposed and stale and putrid and smelling and is unclean? Who will eat? Like that I was. Now today, I was telling these things. There is one more discussion about how people, they, again in China and all these places, they make something called a snake wine. And you know what that is mean? They kill the snake, they collect the blood, and they put blood and the wine and the snake inside, some kind of a vessel, and then decompose that for many months. And then when it comes out, then that kind of a liquid, they call it as a snake wine, and they drink it. So it is putrid, it is decomposed, very unclean, but the people who are in mode of ignorance, they are the ones who like this kind of a food and then eat. And Krishna says this is improper, completely improper. And materially speaking, what is the proper food? And that has been the foods which enhance the health. They are the foods which are called proper food, materially speaking. So here also we can see the objects of sense gratification, particularly for the tongue, is the food, and if that has to be called proper, then it has to be healthy. So actually we should take the food which is inducing health. Here Krishna is saying health, happiness and satisfaction. So you may say, when those people are eating those food, they are happy. The Gaura ki, the Gaura Chandra ki. So you may say that these people, when they are eating all these things, they are also feeling very happy. Right? They are also taking pleasure. Otherwise, why it has become a national product? Why it has become so popular? Right? They are also taking pleasure. So, here Krishna is saying, Ayuhu sattva balarogya. Any food that enhances the health, only that is called proper. Bala, arogya. Then you may say, no, these people are also bala. They are also very healthy. They are also very, this thing. So, actually, according to Bhagavad Gita, only the foods that are there in Sattva Guna, they are considered to be proper. Right? Other foods are not considered to be proper. So then how do you refute these people? That no, we are also okay. Why we cannot eat these foods? Now recently the United Nations, they are worried about the shortage of food in the world, because year by year the rainfalls are coming down in various parts of the country, various parts of the world. Actually this year they are predicting that India will have shortfall in rains. So shortfall of rains means they will have less grains, right? And then less food. So there is a shortage of food all over the planet, and it's actually not because of the grain production. It's most because most of the people are becoming non-vegetarians. And non-vegetarians means they kill cows and bulls and various other animals. Now if you want to produce 1 kg of meat, you have to feed 8 kg of grains to the animals. See, 1:8. Right? So all the grains are going towards feeding these animals, and then there is a shortage of food. So recently the United Nations, they have issued a notice saying that people should now try eating insects so that they can reduce the shortage of food. They found that if you feed the insects with 1 kg of grains or 2 kg of grains, you will get 1 kg of meat. So animals means 1:8, insects means just 1:2. 2 kg if you feed, you can get 1 kg. And then what are the insects they are recommending? They are recommending red ants and the flies that you see around the tube lights, the flies, all those things. So in some places of Africa and even in America and those places, now they have started what is known as insect farming. They grow these insects deliberately. They put all these tubulates and all those things, and they get these insects, and then they start feeding them. In Africa, one of the insect farm, it has got a $1 million award for its innovation. And I was very, very curious, what is this $1 million innovation? They found a kind of a house flies. There's a flies which comes and disturbs us. Some of those, they found one variety of house flies, and what they do, they live on mucus and stool and blood of animals. So their idea is they kill the animals and all the mucus and blood comes out, and these flies will eat that mucus and blood, and so that the people can eat these animals and eat these flies, and there is no wastage. That's what they found, and they were given $1 million this thing. So actually speaking, if you are not come in touch with Prabhupada, if you are not come in touch with this movement, we will be eating one of those packed in nice wonderful variety packs. Imported from America means immediately we'll have, very nice, imported from America, imported from Japan, imported from China, means there is a lot of craze. Now China products are becoming very popular in India. China mobiles and China electronics, and the next version will be China food. And then what that food, we have no idea. I'll just tell you one more food, and then I'll not tell any more so that you're all aware. In China and Japan, Tokyo is facing a very big problem of managing the human waste. How to manage this human waste, they are unable to understand. In India, they manage human waste very nicely. You know how? Pigs. Where are the pigs now? They are eating pigs. Right? So, what they do in India, they simply take all our sewage, all the human waste, and put it into rivers. One side they are putting human waste into the river, Ganga. We have wonderful rivers actually. One side they will be putting, and the other side they are pumping out by the municipality. And where that water comes? Into each and every house. That water comes back to our houses, and then we are all thinking, yes, today I am taking Ganga bath, Yamuna bath, Kaveri bath, actually like that. But it's actually human waste mixing into these rivers. Anyway, the potency of these rivers, say Yamuna, will not get contaminated by the human waste, But this is the intelligence of the Indians. Of course, the new government is thinking of purifying or cleaning up the Ganga and other rivers. But this is the foolish thing to do. So anyway, the Tokyo people have realized that no, we should not feed this human waste into the ocean. They used to send it out to the ocean, but they saw that the ocean is getting polluted and all kinds of things. So they have appointed scientists. They said, now you decide what to do. Of course, this example I think I have told also. The scientists have finally figured out that the human waste has lot of protein. He has analyzed in the this thing, lot of protein is there, and then he started making bakery items from the human waste. It's all real, huh? These are all real stories. And then now they have released those bakery items, cakes, into nicely packed, branded variety into the Japan market, and it is becoming increasingly popular. Why I am warning is, maybe some of your friends, some of your relatives or whoever, they may be thinking, oh, exciting products from China and Japan, nice, wonderful variety, but warn them, it could be it could be the products from human waste of Japanese people. So they are making Indians as pigs. Pigs only eats human waste, right? They are making Indians as pigs of Japanese. There is a possibility like that. So you can be aware of this. So actually, if you go like this, people will say, yeah, I am happy, I am eating this. I am very healthy because there are a lot of proteins in this. So everybody will say, my food is okay and what I am doing is okay. Right? Everybody will say this. That's why there is a big debate goes on whether vegetarian is okay or non-vegetarian is okay. What is wrong with non-vegetarian or what is wrong with vegetarian? There you see the innumerable debates will be going on, innumerable arguments will be going on. So how to decide this? Everybody will say, I am okay, I am healthy, right? I am also getting bhalarobhya. Everybody will say this. So then how to decide? That's why the Acharya says, we cannot decide by our own taste, our own attraction for a certain food or certain sense of objects of senses. We cannot decide this. This has to be decided by the authorities, and finally it has to be decided by the Lord Himself who created this world. And Krishna is already decided in Bhagavad Gita that these are the foods which are proper and these are the foods which are not proper. And here also Angira Muni is confirming that all these five senses of objects, the sense objects have to be proper. And how? And in what way they should be proper, that has been described in Bhagavad Gita already. So if we eat anything decomposed or anything putrid, it is said that they are in the mode of ignorance. And what is the danger of being mode of ignorance? Our ignorance continues to increase. If you do anything in ignorance, then ignorance becomes compounded, it increases. If you eat something in ignorance, and if you think that is okay, your ignorance increases. That's why when Prabhupada came, he has not got into this discussion of vegetarian or non-vegetarian. He said, we are interested in offering to Krishna and eating only Krishna Prasad. If Krishna says, you offer me meat, we would have actually offered and we would have taken that. But Krishna never said that. He said, Krishna recommends only offering of foods in the mode of goodness, not in the mode, any other mode. So, we offer Krishna the food items in the mode of goodness, and we only take Krishna Prasadam and we will not touch any other thing. A sincerely practicing devotee means he is not interested even in the foods which are in the mode of goodness. Somebody who is sincere, he wants to progress in spiritual life, he is only interested in eating Krishna Prasadam and nothing else. And only when they eat Krishna Prasadam like that, then here there is one more item. 7 properties of material nature Angirya Rishi is recommending, they should be proper. And 5 objects of sense gratification we have discussed. Particularly I have discussed tongue because tongue is the most difficult, that is the most difficult sense. So that's why I have discussed about the tongue. And you can see how tongue is pulling people into so much of sinful activity. Actually they are not sparing any species of life. You know, actually when the Shastra says 84 lakh species of life, they will be very happy. Oh, we tasted only few. So there are so many, 80 lakhs are there pending. You know, they'll be desiring now, where are these 80 lakhs? So this is how the tongue pulls the people, you know, that's a very, very powerful. Once I was traveling with one naturopathy doctor. He just seated opposite me. So just asking what do you do and all those. And he says, I know I'm a naturopathy doctor. Naturopathy doctors, they recommend eating sprouts and fruits and vegetables and all those things as a way of curing the diseases. So I said, how long are you there in this field? He said that last 35 years I have been in this field. Okay, from your 35 years of experience, you tell me, what is the greatest difficulty for your patients? And you recommend fruits, you eat sprouts, you eat this, you eat that. You will be recommending that. So I said, what is your experience? Your patients will come back to you, right? After following for some time. What is your greatest experience? Why your patients are unable to practice this? Then he said, he's out of 30. He's saying, Swamiji, the greatest difficulty is controlling the tongue. He said that. So that is actually in line with the Shastra. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, tongue is the biggest thing to control. Actually, many people nowadays, they talk about control of mind. Right? If you look at the meditation, there is something called Vipassana meditation. They go away for 7 days or 10 days. And there are various kinds of meditations they recommend. In Andhra, they recommend meditation on your swasa, your breathing. That's the kind of meditation. And then you have to attend that meditation, you have to pay money. Right? And then they all try to control their mind now. That actually, in this age, these kind of meditation techniques, which is a big industry all over the planet, it's a cheating industry. It's a bogus industry. Why? And none of those techniques will work. The first thing that they have to do is to control the tongue, not mind. Where is mind? Mind is in tongue. He has to go on eating. That's all the mind is looking at. Right? So unless they control the tongue, there is no possibility of controlling the mind. And then when we say, you focus, you meditate on Krishna, or meditate on Jagannath, there is a no. You go and tell, you meditate on swasa, you meditate on one dot, you meditate on candle, you meditate on shunya, that means nothing. They'll say, they'll pay and go. In one of the sessions, weekend sessions, they have to pay 11,000 rupees and go. And what is the meditation? Meditation on shunya. That means, I don't know what they meditate on shunya means. They'll be saying shunya, or S-O-N-Y-A, shunya. Like that, they'll be meditating shunya like that. 11,000 rupees he has to pay and go and meditate on shunya. So you're meditating on shunya, on candle, on thought, on breathing. Why don't you meditate on Krishna? No. See, this is how people are. And then, so Prabhupada has understood that in this age, mind control based on all these techniques will not work, and that's why he gave us wonderful prasad. Right? He is a scientist, he is a real scientist. He understood that in this age, first people have to control the tongue. Forget about mind and all, the first control the tongue. So he gave wonderful prasadam, and one more he gave for tongue control. Chant Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So our method of perfection is very simple. One is chant, and one more is dance, and when you are a little tired, take prasad. That's all. Chant, dance, and prasadam. If you do these three, Prabhupada says you'll go back to Garuda. Right? Just three things. Eating prasadam, nicely dancing. This is what it is. Anyway, people are, they want to eat abominable food. Okay. Then somebody may say, no, we are only eating nice fruits, nice, this and that. Then I'll be okay. Are they proper? No. Here Angira Rishi is saying, out of the 7 properties there is one more, and that is called ego. The total material energy, the ego, and the 5 objects of sense gratification. Okay, anyway we have discussed the 5 objects of sense gratification. Now the next thing is, that should be proper, is the ego. Even though you may have your food very proper, say somebody is in sattvic food, but still he will not be happy, actually speaking, because there is an ego which is not proper. What is the proper ego? What should be the proper ego? The proper ego is, I am the servant of the Lord. In the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada explains in one of the purports that if somebody can meditate on this, he can implement this, that I am a servant of the Supreme Lord, Prabhupada says it solves all problems of life. If you want solution to all problems of life, now this is the sentence which you have to go on repeating to yourself. And what is that? I am an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord, Krishna Jagannath. See? So Angira Rishi is saying the ego has to be proper. Now there is one more thing is there. Total material energy. What is this total material energy? That is actually pradhana. Pradhana is unmanifest matter. And do you know our body has this matter, unmanifest matter? See, people are investigating, trying to understand what this body is, but that body has not just manifest matter, it has this unmanifest matter called pradhana. How will you understand? You are unable to understand manifest matter only. You don't even know this body. How will you understand unmanifest matter? Right? This body itself they don't know. The scientists have not understood this body, how it works, right? How it produces the various things that it produces. This is all manifest in front of eyes. They don't even know this, and there is something called pradhana, which is unmanifest matter, which is also part of our kshetra. So matter, unmanifest matter, and beyond that is the soul, and they have no idea. They have no idea about the unmanifest matter. How can they will have idea about the soul which is beyond these two matters? See, actually this is not possible. So that's why our way of understanding is understand through the acharyas, through Srila Prabhupada, understand that I am actually a spirit soul, an eternal servant of Krishna. If you can understand this, your path of solving all the problems is started. It has begun. Okay? So here, very interesting, Angira Rishi is setting the example of an hospitality. What kind of a questions we have to ask? That's why Prabhupada says, when we read Bhagavatam, we not only understand about our spiritual life, we can also understand about various aspects of our life. So here Angira Muni is asking, how are you? In that sense he is asking, and apite anamayam swasti, are you doing well? But he is not limited to just the bodily health, he is asking about the 7 things. And what are those 7? Sridhar Swami is explaining, Swami, that means your spiritual master, is he okay? Actually, there was one great king in the South India, Krishna Deva Raya, and he used to rule that Hampi kingdom he used to rule, and he used to have Vyasatidha, one of our stalwart acharyas in Madhva Parampara, as his guru. He is the Rajaguru, but he is also simultaneously one of the Parampara gurus. He is a spiritual authority. So Swami refers to the spiritual guru, the Vyasatidha. So Swami, Amatyav, that means your ministers are okay. For example, if the cabinet ministers if they don't do well, the entire government, even the king, even the prime minister, he will be in trouble. If one minister is doing something wrong, then he is even even the prime minister is in trouble. Then Janapada, his kingdom, how is the kingdom doing? This is the question to the king. And then Durga means his own residence, his fort. So how is it doing, his fort? And then his treasury. Financial situation should be okay, otherwise the king is not all right. Currently in India, in most of the governments, the state governments, the treasuries are empty. There is no money. So every government is thinking how to collect taxes from the public. They are thinking of collecting more and more money. So that's one of the treasury. And then is Danda, his royal order. That means the military and the police, are they okay? And then Mitraha, Dando Mitram Cha Tassayat. So Mitraha means whether his allies are okay. That's the new government. As soon as it is formed, you see, it is trying to make allies with the neighbors, SAARC countries and all that they say, no? They are trying to make. See, such a wonderful knowledge is there even in Bhagavatam. How a king has to take care of various things. So that's why Angira Rishi is asking, are these things are okay with you? So that's the question he has asked. So that's why some of the elderly people, when you see, they don't stop at are you okay? They'll also say, how is your family, say your wife, your children, your friends, the various questions they ask. That itself will take so much of time. That's why in the olden age, at least these people had enough time to ask about all these things. They sit and then go on spending hours together. One family they meet, some 2-3 hours will go. Right? Nowadays, there is no time. Everybody is busy. Even if there is little time, then he has to check his Facebook. He has to check his, some SMS will come. He will say, how are? And one SMS is there, he will say, how are you? And one more SMS is there. Actually, people have become completely mechanical and impersonal. Previously, in the train when we used to go, opposite people used to talk. How are you? Where are you coming from? What are you doing? There is nobody. Everybody is living on Facebook. Why these people are there in front of me? I would be alone like that, they'll be. And then if you go to the third AC or the second AC, they close the curtains. Even in the daytime, they just close the curtains and then inside they'll be doing all. He'll be asking his friend somewhere, how are you? But he's not asking somebody who is sitting, how are you? No. So, hospitality, the warmth, personalism is completely coming down in the society. People are very, very impersonal. They don't bother about all these things, right? So, Bhagavatam is reminding, even materially you are not proper. You are not in proper order. So, that's what Bhagavatam is recommending. So, read Bhagavatam, first Bhagavad Gita, and then Bhagavatam. And if you complete Bhagavatam, you understand absolute truth nicely in all its aspects. It's all part of absolute knowledge. That's how the world works. And if you go away from this, one day you have to come back to it. You will not be free from it. So these are the laws of this world, how this world works. So if you read Bhagavatam, you become very thorough in absolute truth. That means in understanding Krishna. And not only Krishna, Krishna and his entire creation. how to relate with Krishna's creation, how to relate with Krishna's parts and parcels, and how to relate with him. Everything you'll understand in fully just by reading Bhagavatam. But you won't be able to understand Bhagavatam if you don't read Bhagavad Gita. But you cannot start Bhagavad Gita nicely if you don't read other small books of Srila Prabhupada. So read all the books of Prabhupada and read Bhagavad Gita so that you can read Bhagavatam. And then you will have a lot of doubts. So that's why we have to take devotee association, come to the temple, speak to the devotees, understand various aspects of life. This is the only moment maybe which encourages you to ask questions. If you ask question, there is somebody to answer without getting angry. There are certain religions, if you ask question, they will issue a fatwa. They will say, so and so person has asked a question. On his head, $1 million. They will issue a fatwa like that. You know, that's the world we are seeing. Anybody who opposes a little bit, that means he is challenging. One little question, that means challenge. Fatwa. But here is the moment where Prabhupada is encouraging us to use our intelligence. Brahma Jijnasa, use our intelligence. He is asking us questions. But we have no questions. There it's ulta. They have a lot of questions. There is nobody to ask. If you ask, fatwa over. So that's the funny situation. So any questions? Yeah. Yeah. So this is the verse which you are referring to. Here Prabhupada is saying, the soul is above all, namely the sense objects, the senses, the mind and intelligence. Therefore, directly understanding the constitutional position of the soul. What is the constitutional position of the soul? I am an eternal servant. Is the solution of the whole problem. Next in the paragraph he is saying, Prabhupada, with intelligence, one has to seek out the constitutional position of the soul and then engage the mind always in Krishna consciousness. That solves the whole problem. The always constitutional position Prabhupada is talking about. We have to seek that position and we have to act like a servant of the Lord. Under this circumstance, how will a servant of Krishna act? Like that we should act in every circumstance. Then that solves the whole problem. Let us say we see some sense objects. How will a servant of Krishna see the sense objects? If you can act or see like that, then that solves the problem. Or if you think in a different way, an improper ego, false ego, with that false ego if you see, then there is then there is a problem. Right? So in every circumstance, how can a servant of Krishna acts? Accordingly we should act like that. Now his question is, here mind, the soul is controlled, then the mind is controlled, then the subordinates are controlled. Actually, this is the situation in the case of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada. When the soul is directly connected to Krishna, spiritually strong, and the soul is actually the master in this body. And once the soul is strong, the whole body, the senses, everything will be in proper order. All the 7 properties what we discussed, everything will be in proper order. But our problem is now, the soul is not strong. Soul is not driving the machine, but the machine is driving the soul. So what is happening? The senses are driving the entire machine. The eye sees something and they say, no, go in this direction. This is nice. This showroom is very good. This food is very good. Chalo. Then immediately we'll go inside. Right? So currently the senses are actually pulling. And the soul is helplessly, the mind is helplessly getting dragged by the senses, and the soul is also getting dragged by the senses. So this is how it is happening, right? So since the whole dragging force is at the sense level, so Prabhupada saw that. People are unable to control their senses. He saw that. And among the senses, which is the strongest? So the tongue. So that's how Prabhupada said, okay, first you spiritualize the tongue. You start giving, Krishna Prasadam. Now the beauty of Krishna Prasadam is, the tongue is getting controlled, and once you eat, it strengthens the soul. As soon as you eat Krishna Prasadam, the Prasadam, it touches the soul, wakes up the soul. Now soul is sleeping. So it touches the soul, it wakes up the soul. And then immediately you start becoming stronger. Not only physically, but in terms of our spiritual strength we regain. But of course, while eating prasadam, there is a certain consciousness also we should maintain, and that's why it's called honoring prasadam. Nobody, that's why you don't see eating prasadam, they will not say. They say, what is honoring prasadam? What is honoring prasadam and what is eating prasadam? Same thing कर रहा हूँ ना? क्या है? The difference क्या है? I'm unable to hear little strongly. Honoring is, he is saying, honoring means giving pleasure to the Lord, and eating means giving pleasure to ourselves. Okay, because when we eat prasadam, we enjoy, nothing wrong. Basically, that's why we offer prayers. Before eating prasadam, we offer prayers. We remind ourselves that this is prasadam of the Lord, that means mercy of the Supreme Lord. Mercy of the Supreme Lord means their remnants, Krishna's remnants. He eats and he leaves. Those remnants I am eating. So this kind of a consciousness we should have. And then those remnants I am eating. And then while remembering the Lord and His mercy, if you eat, it pleases Krishna, it pleases us also. There is a pleasure to us also, and it is pleasure to the Lord. So this is that means there is a proper mood in which we have to take prasadam. So that's why it's called honoring. So when we honor prasadam like that, even otherwise also, it's like medicine. It's like a medicine. Whether you know or don't know, when you eat, there is an impact. So similarly, when you start spiritualizing the tongue by food, that wakes up the soul, that touches the soul, and we become stronger and stronger, and we will be able to control the other senses. So that's how it works. And it cleans up, and when we chanting cleans up the mind, and then we will be able to control the other senses. Actually, without controlling the tongue, we cannot conclude that we have controlled other senses. So, in our movement, tongue control is given a very big importance. So that's why never eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. Only Krishna Prasad. Right? Then we are safe. Any other question? Ego? It comes under the mental energy. Pradhana. Why they have mentioned differently? Because pradhana itself is one of the elements. If you see the 24 elements with which the field of activity is constructed, the 24 elements, one of the elements is the pradhana. And pradhana itself divides into all these rest of the elements also, like false ego and the earth, water, fire, all those things will come from pradhana only. But pradhana itself is one of it has its own identity. It's also one of the ingredients. So that's why it is quoted separately. Yeah.
For reading Srila Prabhupada, I said to read 1 hour daily. So on average, how much should we read? Like how many number of pages or number of slokas?
How?
Maybe number of pages or number of slokas on average. Like sometimes we go daily reading some 20 slokas, some days 3 slokas.
Yeah. So Prabhupada says we should read for 1 hour. Is there any guidance on how many slokas to read a day? Right? How many slokas now? Actually, our reading of Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, you should not think that it's only a one-time reading. You should not be thinking that I'll just read once and then that's it. And then I'll pass out of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and I need not have to read once again. Now regular curriculum within, in our regular school or college, what we do, once you read and write exam over, again you will not see for the whole life. After joining job also, none of us will see these books. Nothing. There you have to deal with something else in the jobs. You have to deal with politics, company politics, politics with boss. This is the right actually. So anyway, so sometimes we may think that my reading means just once I'll read and then that's it, I am passed out of all this. No, it's not like that. Actually, whole life we should go on reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita and the other books again and again. And when you read first time, there are certain slokas which look easy and then maybe we will be able to complete fast, and some slokas will look little difficult and then it will take little time. But when you read next time, it could be some other sloka set which look easier, which look difficult, right? And then as you go on reading and reading, and when you go on internalizing, you see that more and more slokas or more and more purports of Srila Prabhupada will become more clear to us, are more implementable for us. And we have to implement all these things, they become more implementable for us. So it is not about how many slokas we have read, it is about how much we have understood nicely and how much we are able to implement in our day-to-day life. Spiritual life is about implementation. It's not about simply acquiring more and more knowledge, but it is about implementation. We all have to practice, right? The first practice is 16 rounds and then other rules and regulations. How many of you are chanting 16? All of you? Okay. If you are not chanting, today is the best day. Why? Why today is the best day? Huh? Because tomorrow never comes. So they say no, Shigrasya, Subhasya Shigram, they say no. That is for increasing our rounds to 16. Not for drinking coffee, chai. Outside people they will say, Subhasya Shigram, immediately let us go. Let us go to coffee day. For that day, there is no Subhasya Shigram. As much delay as possible is better. Right? So here also you see he is asking about auspiciousness of about the king. Anamayam, what is the word he is using? Swasti. Anamayam Swasti. That means Swasti means auspiciousness. So that's why whenever we hear that 16 rounds is auspiciousness, immediately that day is the most, the best day to start 16 rounds. We are in Jagannath Puri, And today is Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra, and then we heard that this is very auspicious. That's it. Immediately we should start 16 rounds. Right? Otherwise, why we have to wait? Sometimes some devotees will be waiting for something to happen so that they can start 16. What is that to happen? What should happen? Akashvani बोलना है करो भाई 16 Akashvani. So they will not, right? You should decide. Immediately you should decide, yes, this is the best day, and immediately start doing chant. 16 rounds you should do. Actually, as you do 16 rounds, Krishna reciprocates to that extent, and then there will be swasti, auspiciousness in our lives. Okay? So we'll wind up here. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavatam ki jai.